Hey guys, how's it going? Today I want to speak about the subject of how to be less wasteful in our society. So how can we achieve that? I mean, obviously we live in a society where if something breaks, well, we just replace it and we just get something new. Well, luckily or unluckily, when I was a kid, I couldn't often afford a replacement VHS recorder or even a replacement car or stuff like that. My parents had to fix it, and even if something even as simple as a toaster would break, we'd try to fix it. And that came from the fact that we just didn't have enough money to just be able to buy the stuff, and maybe also in those days it wasn't as available as now. Nowadays, if something breaks, such as a toaster, you can just get a new one for like $15 or even less. So that's why we start to waste. But little by little, there's a lot of societies now, a lot of places that are starting to ban plastics. Because if you really think about it, we've created this thing which is very durable and basically does not disintegrate at all. It never biodegrades. So you end up being in a, you use this plastic to carry your groceries, you throw it away, and then it goes in the ocean, and fish get trapped in it, and it just pollutes because it has no real use, if that makes sense. Now making toys, making other things in plastic which are going to be used for much longer periods of time makes more sense. But even at the same time, if you really think about it, even like seals of cars to like not have oil and all that stuff spilling out also kind of break fast, and at the same time they get thrown away as soon as they break, and they don't really get recycled or melted into some other plastic. Even when you recycle plastics such as bottles and stuff like that, if they're not clean, they're just taken out and they're not really recycled in the same way as you would think it is. So yeah, we do live in a very wasteful society, and it's very sad. But I think the first step is, I think people need to be conscious. For example, I tend to reuse the same trash bag multiple times until it just gets to the point where it can't be used anymore. Because when you have a trash bin, those big trash containers in a building, it's very simple. Especially if you have like very dry stuff and it hasn't really dirtied the plastic, you can just empty whatever was in that plastic and just reuse it over and over and over again. But if you really want to go to another extreme, you could also get something that's made out of fabric and then clean it up once in a while, once it gets dirty, and just reuse the same piece of fabric over and over again. That's at least what I do for my groceries and a lot of other things. And if you really think about it, it's kind of crazy that we make all these plastic forks, plastic knives, plastic everything, even wooden chopsticks and stuff like that, and we just throw it away. Same with paper, with all these advertisements and stuff that we don't even look at. It's just horrible, like how we've gotten to this point, and it's just a habit, I think, because really in reality we don't need all these things, and we need to find a way as a society to basically maybe just change our way of being so that we don't waste so much. Because unfortunately you can think about the present day and basically just think about yourself, and it's kind of safe to say, as long as we don't have a nuclear explosion or a war that erupts, which can happen at any time, any silly person can just kill a society pretty fast. But as long as we don't do that, we're still in a very stable situation with the world, if that makes sense. But if we think about our future children or the future people living on this earth, and even animals and all that stuff, they might not be so lucky. And of course the planet can kind of heal itself, and I think what would really happen is that if we really get to that point of no return, well, guess what? I think a lot of the population will die, and once again nature will win. Even if there were to be a nuclear explosion and a big part of the earth would be extinct, let's say 90% of all species would go extinct, which has happened over and over and over again, nature would win again. And even at the same time, it's sad to think about it this way, but if you really think about it, well, even when the earth will be destroyed because the sun will have gotten so large and the heat will have started to melt the earth and all that, even though it will explode, well, nature wins again, because there will be pieces of rocks, pieces of fragments that will start traveling through the universe and maybe land on some other planet, and if it's lucky enough, it'll recycle itself again and some more trees will grow on it and whatever, you know. So again, we're trying to keep our earth forever this way, which unfortunately it won't happen, but we can kind of try to do our best to keep it livable for as long as we can, because if you really think about it, it's kind of like how they say our body is our temple. Well, our earth is our temple. It's the thing that we have in common with every single thing that is on this planet, is that we're all part of this earth. It doesn't belong to any of us, but we all live in it. So it's kind of like our home. So it's best to try to do our best to keep it fresh and nice and all. And we don't seem to be doing that. And it doesn't come from the fact that I think people don't want to. It comes from a bit from ignorance and force of habit, and the fact that maybe you've done this for the past 30 years or 20 years or 40 years or however long you've been on this earth alive, and it's always been like that, and you kind of accept it. So you're kind of used to getting your paper napkin or your plastic fork or plastic spoon, but how hard would it be to just on you or in your bag or in your backpack or whatever it is, always have, be it chopsticks, be it forks, be it knives, be it even a plate, so that you don't have to waste and do something. And it doesn't take much, but it doesn't take much from one person, but it takes the combination of all the people, or as many people as we can on this earth, at least more than 50%, to change things. And guess what? Like your restaurant, your business, all these things will actually save money, because they don't have to buy paper plates and all that stuff. And in the end, they'd be happy, you know. But it comes from the fact that, first of all, the population needs to make a change within themselves. Understand that it's good to change, that sometimes old habits are not the best, and maybe you've been doing it wrong all this time, even though it works. I mean, obviously, probably in our generation, we can keep on going crazy with plastics and stuff, and it'll still kind of work. But then there's going to be a point of no return where we've just dilapidated and destroyed so much of the Earth's natural resources that maybe we'll get to that point of no return. But of course, if they can find a biodegradable plastic or paper that easily can be biodegradable and a way of like regrowing it faster than we're using it, then I guess it's okay. But you're also thinking about the fact that maybe is it really a necessity? Maybe it would have been fine without it, and we don't really need it, and we don't really need all this plastic and stuff, and we just need to be more conscious, I think. But it's hard to like convince people on a video that it's not going to be seen by so many people, really. And at least the change will come from one person, and I think there's millions of people who are trying to make a change. But I think, unfortunately, we need more than millions. We need billions. And then companies will basically go towards whatever sells most. So if people don't buy products with plastic, then they won't sell. Simple as that. Okay, have a great day. Talk to you soon.